Alright everybody, so it is about 8:45 and we made it here back at my house here in West Central Florida here around 8 o'clock, and we just actually stopped and grabbed something to eat. So I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and let you guys know I'm going to show some overall gas prices, and I made a little chart and some graphs and things like that about the number of tanks I went through, the miles per gallon and all that stuff, so in case, you know, somebody wants to kind of like dweeb out on that. And then also, so I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about, like, say for instance, so overall overall I traveled 2,493.7 miles, and let's see here, my trip home was 1,240 miles even, actually, which was kind of weird. So going up there for 2 days worth of traveling, the total driving time was 24 hours and 12 minutes. Now that is give or take a couple of hours, and I stopped at some scenic spots that I showed you guys throughout the video to like do some photography and things like that. So so probably you could probably subtract a couple hours to that. Now on the ride home, I did not actually stop at hardly that many places on the way home. So on day one, the only place that I really stopped was actually for dinner. So I mean, I drove through northern Arkansas. Northern Arkansas was actually really awesome. It's actually just as pretty as southern Missouri is. And the really cool thing is about northern Arkansas, man, check out Mammoth Spring. I'm really sorry that I did not have the opportunity or the time to check out Mammoth Spring, but it's definitely on my list of places to check out in the future for sure. So if you guys like camping or canoeing, kayaking, rafting, tubing, things like that, then definitely check out Mammoth Spring. It looks to be kind of the cool place, and it looks like it's got like a lot of really cool stuff there. So if you're familiar with, say, like the Merrimack River in southern Missouri, or, you know, like some not like, you know, major class, you know, class 3 rapids or so on and so forth like you'd find in Colorado, but definitely some cool stuff. If you're just looking for like some, you know, some small rapids and some lazy river kind of stuff, it was definitely looked to be some fun times there. So but overall, like I said, my trip home took me, let's see here, was 21 hours and 36 minutes. So that was coming home. Now that's a combined total for both days that it took me to actually get home. So on the way up there, as I discussed previously, I drove from West Central Florida all the way up through Georgia and Atlanta, and then I actually went through Nashville, and then Paducah, and then over through the boot heel of Missouri up to the Lake of the Ozarks. Now, coming home, I left the Lake of the Ozarks. I'm sorry about that. That was a crazy bug. But coming home, I left the Lake of the Ozarks and headed directly south. Instead of going through the boot heel, I actually went down through north central Arkansas through Mammoth Spring. So definitely, like I said, check that out. And then from there, I went through Birmingham, Alabama, which was really cool. So we started off at Lake of the Ozarks, went through Mammoth Spring roughly, probably a couple other small towns like Lebanon, Missouri, places like that. And then we also went through Mammoth Spring. I believe we went through Memphis. Let's see here, and then we went through a couple places in Mississippi. Then I'll highlight on the video as well. Day one, there was really not a whole lot of really scenic anything going on other than the Ozark Mountains in Missouri and Arkansas. Those were definitely something to see. About halfway through Arkansas on the road that I took, and I'll highlight that for you guys. I actually found that there was like kind of like this like weird plateau drop-off thing, and then, like, you know, once the plateau dropped off, it looked like it was on a river plain, and that was like a lot of where the agriculture was being done in Arkansas. So it was actually kind of cool to see it, but it wasn't necessarily as scenic as the Ozark Mountains and things like that. So I probably did very little commentary while I was actually driving, because it was just, I mean, I'm not saying that it was boring driving, but it was kind of just rolling plains, just, you know, kind of like driving through northern Missouri or Illinois, or not as bad as Kansas, but kind of bad. So I mean, it's like a lot like, you know, that Georgia, North Florida kind of thing. You know, so it was kind of you know, just bland driving, if you will. So that was interesting. Day two's highlight was definitely some of the smaller towns that you get to drive through. So like say Alabama had some really, really cool stuff to drive through. Once you got out of Birmingham, in between Birmingham and some other, just right outside of Birmingham, there were some really, really cool like smaller town locations and things like that that were really, really cool. So it was definitely something to check out too. I didn't have enough time to check out a lot of the Civil War memorials and historical markers and stuff that they had to offer in Alabama. But Alabama definitely looks like a place that I'd like to come back and check out because it looked to be very, very cool. It looked to be very, very hilly, which was very unexpected. A couple friends of mine and some people that I watch on YouTube have done some hiking in Alabama. They've done like some like the Pinhoti Trail and some other places like that. And it looked very, very cool. I just, you know, hadn't really checked it out. This time I actually got to kind of see it firsthand driving through Alabama. So it was really, really cool. And also, you know, like another thing that you guys might want to check out is if you're in the area, and this is kind of like, it sounds ridiculous because most people when they're going to Florida, they're not looking to go hang out in the woods. They're looking to hang out at the beach or something like that. But the panhandle of Florida actually kind of surprised me. It had been a few years since I had driven through the panhandle of Florida. And I guess maybe I just didn't realize how hilly it was and things like that. So along that I-10 corridor was definitely pretty cool. It was kind of unexpected. Now, once you got past, like, say, what was it? Tallahassee, it kind of flattened out, so it wasn't like completely wasn't completely hilly all the way through, but it was pretty cool. So definitely some places to check out there. So you know, like I said, Mississippi was probably the most non-descriptive or non-remarkable driving that I think I have experienced in a while, other than in South Georgia, just because it was, I mean, it was pretty, it was green, but it was just rolling green plains, you know, so it wasn't really that remarkable. So what I'm also going to do is when I highlight all of the information about my fuel, and the, you know, the amounts of tanks that I went through, I actually used 6 tanks of gas through this whole trip, and I'll highlight how much fuel I used and how much I paid. That way, you know, can kind of, like I said, can kind of dweeb out on that, and just kind of take a look at some of the fuel and then show you exactly where I got, you know, like, you know, where I paid the most and where I paid the less for. I think I paid the most for fuel, believe it or not, in the panhandle of Florida right off I-10, but I paid the least for fuel in Mississippi. I think I paid $2.15 for a gallon for 87 octane, regular unleaded. But all right, so that's it for now. So if you guys have any questions or comments, obviously, you know, leave them down in the description below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Or obviously swing by my website, wherejoegoes.com, and feel free to just drop me an email, drop me a question, fill out the form if you want. Check it out, let me know. And thanks for watching, guys. And if you guys like what you see, I will be updating with more additional content the moment that I get to go to some other really cool place, or actually just get the next place on film that I go to. So I'm always trying to kind of come up with some really cool places, whether they're historic places to do some photography, like the Yulee Sugar Mill, or whether it's some really cool places for wildlife photography, whether that is, like, say, out in the Florida Everglades, like Everglades National Park, or sometimes I'll do like some national park trips too, like my Joshua Tree National Park trip. So I do have a few other trips planned in the future. So obviously I'm not going to reveal those right now, but I do have a few extra really cool things coming up here that I'm kind of looking at right now, and then a couple of others, like maybe side trips, like as kind of a bonus that I'm looking at. So obviously, if you like what you see, click subscribe, and definitely kind of, you know, pay attention to what's going on my channel, because I'm trying to update the channel as much as possible and trying to update my website as well. So follow me on Instagram and see all my latest photography as well. And if you have any questions, like I said, hit me up, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy my content. Thank you.